Unbrick Me here, and today I want to talk about the winter wave of 2026 LEGO Technic sets. First, let's start with a Porsche 911 GT3 RX AO Racing. I really like the color scheme, all the green stickers here. It's got the Hand of God knobs, the yoke that works together with the steering, and it's got fully independent suspension on all four wheels, even a differential with a 6-cylinder horizontally opposed engine. However, this car really doesn't have anything special beyond that. It is much better than that previous Ferrari GT3 RS set that we got in the winter wave of 2021. Unlike that one, it does not have that big empty space in it, and you can actually, put it on like a little stand here. And I think that's pretty cool. So you put it down, and it kind of floats up beyond the table. So that's pretty cool. This set comes in at $150 and it contains 1,313 pieces, giving it a price of 11.4 cents per piece. It's a little bit more on the overpriced side, but ultimately nothing too crazy. Definitely better price than that Ferrari set I was talking about earlier. It's a good car, but ultimately nothing special. So let's talk about the SLS, the Space Launch System right now. And I really like this set. It stands out for all the correct reasons. So it's got a crankshaft here at the left, and if you spin it, you can see the rocket rising. And as it rises, the little boosters on the side go away, and if you keep making it rise even more, you can see the command module up top will go flying up. So that's pretty cool. It's a really excellent set that's not a vehicle. Well, I suppose a rocket ship is technically a vehicle, but I meant something that's not on tracks or on wheels, like a car or an excavator, for example. This is something that's truly unique, and on the rear here, it is not paneled up in any way, so you can see all the mechanisms and how it works and how it's on like a rail type of system. This set is actually really cheap. It's only $60, and for $60 you get such a big massive rocket ship with a stand and some cool mechanisms. You spin the crankshaft and it like launches up and the boosters go away, the command module goes away. Super fun to play with. Also has 632 pieces, giving it a price to parts ratio of 9.5 cents per piece, and it's licensed with NASA, so despite the license, it's still rather cheap. And honestly, if you were to buy only one set of the winter 2026 LEGO Technic Wave, this is the one you should buy. Only $60, and look at how much functionality and playability it has. This right here, this is a gem. The pullback sets, of course, are pretty cool. We've got a new version of the Gravedigger, like water on the left and fire on the right, and that's pretty cool. It does come with the Jeep Wrangler tires, so unlike the first Monster Jam sets we got back in January of 2021, these ones actually have the Jeep Wrangler tires, and those ones had the older style normal tires, and we definitely should get more of these Jeep Wrangler tires. They're becoming like the new standard. And also we got the Sparkle Smash. This is like a cool unicorn. It's got shiny stickers with stars, and it's such a cool color scheme. Kind of reminds me of, Lego Movie 2, like Queen Whatever Wannabe. She had like that type of color scheme. Lego Friends sets have this type of color scheme, and it's pretty cool. I like seeing this in LEGO Technic. We also have the John Deere Harvester set for only $10. This thing, you can rotate it like this. Got oscillating bogies for the suspension here. The crane is only held by one pin, so you can easily detach it. Maybe not so good for playability, but you can rotate this worm gear here to make the crane go up and down like this. And, you can extend the arm, and you can also like put stuff in the claw here. It's very playable for only $10. Every single LEGO Technic $10 set is just so awesome. You can never go wrong with them. They're usually some kind of unique vehicle, like a forest machine or some sort of construction vehicle. They're never cars for only $10. So you can never go wrong with a $10 set, and they have some pretty cool mechanisms, like generally a worm gear that spins something else. As of right now, I do not have the Ford GT40 or the new Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport. let's talk about the Bugatti first. I have seen Racing Bricks review, and it has a differential, and it's actually connected to the engine in a very cool way. Basically, it has, gear ratios. Here it goes through a pair of gears, and as you spin it, the wheels make the axle spin faster to the engine. So it's a speed increase from the wheels to the engine. Or you can think of it as a torque increase, speed reduction from the engine to the wheels. But anyway, you move the car forward, and this engine goes really fast. And it's a cool W16 engine, very clever solution there. Got a differential, $65, 771 pieces. For that scale of cars, we should always see differentials and some sort of cool gears, and the Bugatti Chiron absolutely delivers in that front. Now let's talk about the Ford GT40. It is $10 more expensive, so it's $75 rather than $65. Has about the same amount of pieces, ultimately the same scale, same sort of scale of cars that can go up on the car transporter set. And it did disappoint me in several ways, like the drivetrain, for example. Only one of the wheels is connected to the engine rather than both through a differential, so it does not have a differential, and it has a measly V8 engine as opposed to the cooler W16 engine, so it is disappointing mechanically, plus it is also more expensive, so maybe not super worth it for that car. That's why it's become kind of controversial within the Technic community. Another reason why it became controversial is actually the 18 plus tag on it. Some people say that because it's 18 plus, ultimately that makes it more premium. More premium means, higher price. That's why it's $75 as opposed to $65. However, I personally disagree. I personally love the 18 plus label on it. As adult fans of LEGO, or as an adult fan of LEGO, I personally sometimes feel a little bit awkward, buying LEGO or playing with LEGO. However, whenever I see a product that's 18 plus, that tells me, hey, it's perfectly okay with me to play with LEGO. It's perfectly okay for me to buy LEGO. And it makes me feel included, like the 18 plus tag, it's not about difficulty. It's not about it being a more complex set. It's all about inclusivity and making adult fans of LEGO feel good. And that's why I love the 18 plus tag so much. Now let's compare this wave of LEGO Technic sets to previous winter LEGO Technic sets back in 2021. Yes, we did get the disappointing Ferrari and all that, but we did get a Control Plus set, the off-road buggy. I think it was like $140 or $130, and that set was just awesome. It had two motors and, the Control Plus hub. The price of the electronics alone is like $180 or $190, and that set was way cheaper. So it was a cheap way to get the Control Plus basic electronics you need. Plus it came with the differential, the newer style differential actually, the heavy-duty one. It came with some shock absorbers, brand new tires. It was just an overall amazing set. In my opinion, in the winter waves of LEGO Technic, we absolutely must get Control Plus LEGO Technic sets. Not only in summer, but in the winter as well. In the winter, I want a small Control Plus set, and in the summer, I want a bigger, better, badder Control Plus set, kind of like the Volvo Articulated Hauler or the Liebherr Excavator or the Liebherr Crawler Crane LR 13000. Any of those big, massive Control Plus sets, those ones for the summer, small Control Plus sets for the winter. Speaking of older winter waves of LEGO Technic, back in 2017, we got the Air Race Jet with power functions, had one motor, one battery box, a multi-directional gearbox, so the one motor could control multiple different functions. It was just truly phenomenal. Back in 2016, we also got the Heavy Lift Helicopter, which was, again, an amazing set. Had one motor and, a battery box and a gearbox to control everything. Back in 2015, we did not get a motorized set necessarily. However, we did get the Arctic truck for a measly $80. And it was designed so that you could buy the motor set, the Power Functions motor set, and use motors and lights from that to upgrade that set and make it motorized. And most importantly, even if you never motorized it at all, it still came with a distribution gearbox. That's kind of the other thing I want to touch on. None of these sets, the newer ones, come with a gearbox of any kind. No driving ring, no gearbox, nothing like that. So the mechanisms aren't particularly exciting. What I want to see in the winter waves of LEGO Technic is gearboxes, motorization, or motor upgradability. I want to see that. I would give the 2016 and the 2017 waves of LEGO Technic S tier. This wave, ultimately, in my opinion, would get a B or an 8 out of 10 because any of these sets, if you just look at them individually, like this set on its own, and you don't look at anything else, they're all good. They're all amazing sets. However, if you look at the wave as a whole, what kind of wave does it make, cohesively? It's not a particularly special wave, in my opinion. So it gets a B from me, but will you be buying any of these LEGO Technic sets? Will you be buying the entire wave? One of them, some of them, none of them? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. This is your Unbreak Me here, and I'll see you in the next one.